Hey, Off-White Coat listeners, it is my privilege to get to tell you about this sweet deal from our friends over at Picmonic. If you haven't heard about Picmonic, it is a fantastic picture-based mnemonic platform that can certainly help out any student. Most of the videos are around 2 minutes long and provide a quick and effective way to memorize material for any upcoming medical exam. It is extremely efficient. They have this search bar function where you can search playlists on general topics like renal to step 1 to step 2, or even first aid and other books. If you want to review the Picmonic for later, you can even make a playlist of your own. Picmonic even has this repetition algorithm that is spaced out according to your learning needs. This helps with increasing long-term retention and allows you to review the right information at the right time. One of my favorite functions is the quizzes that are associated with each Picmonic. I'll take the quiz first and then learn about the associated pictures and what facts I need to sharpen up on. Honestly, Picmonic is a fantastic tool, and if you use our code OFFWHITECOAT, you'll get 20% off. That's Off-White Coat with no spaces. So what are you waiting for? Make studying the easiest part of your day. Sign up with Picmonic and use Off-White Coat to save yourself some money. Hello everyone and welcome to the Off-White Coat podcast. Today I have a special treat for you today. Welcome everybody to Joel Collins.
What's going on?
What's going on? MD.
New and improved, baby.
Yeah. So Joel's a hustler. I've always been impressed like how much he was able to do on the side along with medicine. For one to be an influencer and everything, you have a TikTok. I guess it's an influencer.
I was found out recently at my hospital too. I had my first patient the other day who said, "Oh my gosh, I follow you on TikTok," as she was getting like an injection in her butt. And I was like, oh my gosh, like so embarrassing. The nurse looked at me like, "What? You have a TikTok?" And
then they're all searching.
Yeah. And so long story short, I was found out at work the other day and they found me and they were laughing. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you have so many followers." And I was like, but to me, like, I'm in the space and I have been, but like a lot of my friends have like, I promise you, when I say millions and hundreds of thousands, to me, it's not really a big deal at all, but it's kind of weird when people make like a big deal about that stuff.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're just a person. And I feel like some people just get lucky with that stuff. I feel like I was just lucky. I was posting at the right time. Instagram was hot. I did well on Instagram for a little bit. And then by the same token, like TikTok was new. I hopped on TikTok early when I was in med school, built a solid following. But like a lot of my friends have millions of followers. Like,
yeah. It's always been interesting how you can build a following and then people look at you differently, even though it's just numbers. Like people are just following you. And
exactly.
if I'm telling you, Joel makes some pretty funny videos, so you should definitely go check out. What's your name?
So my @ is the real Dr. Joel.
Okay, yeah. Is that the same? That's the same as your like Instagram.
Yeah, it's
right?
the same on Instagram as it is on TikTok.
Do you still post it? Oh, you post your TikToks to Instagram.
Yeah. So Reels is really popping off right now. There's a lot of growth. Gary Vee said something really interesting the other day. He's like, we're seeing in this time right now a very unique time period with social media and, you know, the evolution of this market. It's going to be capped. How many like everybody's going to be an influencer at one point, right? So
anybody that does anything cool will try to make some money off of it.
Right. So by that same token, you know, the market becomes saturated and you still have a unique opportunity to build a following. So why wouldn't you capitalize on that while you can? And I mean, I think it's really interesting to look back at all the stuff I did and have those videos of like, oh, I remember why I posted that. And like, it's like, I'm a very forgetful person, but by that same token, like, I have this documentation that's either, I mean, it could haunt me one day, but at the same time, you know, like it's really cool to document. Yeah. It's cool to document. It's a great creative outlet for me. Like I said, I feel like I've been more lucky than anything, but I'm not creative at all. I cried in 4th grade art class. I can't draw. I'm horrible at painting, singing. No, music. No, but for whatever reason, making these quick videos. It's funny to me. It's great. It's like,
put a camera in front of him though. Maybe not drawing, but put a camera in front of him. He's golden.
Yeah.
It's pretty, like a lot of them are very funny. And you were even doing it before I'd ever met you. I remember I met you in Grenada. We were playing basketball. We actually played on the same intramural basketball team. And I met you and I'd known you for maybe even a month, whatever. And I'm not a very big social media person. So I had never even just like searched or done anything. So, and then all of a sudden we became friends on Instagram and I was like, Oh, I did, because I had never really met like an influencer really. Like I
Yeah.
just figured that there might be, I don't know, I guess I had thought that they would be a different type of person. Maybe
Yeah.
like very Hollywoody, like
Yeah.
thinking of that, and then I was like, oh, that's not Joel. Like it was so interesting to see like you have this online persona where you make these funny videos, but you're a very wholesome person. And so I was like, oh, I could have never have thought that you would take the time to do these because you're just
Yeah.
a very chill, laid back person.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, oh, these are great.
But that's
So-
the thing is like,
But it's your
people-
creative outlets.
Yeah, but I mean, you said it best. It's like, I would rather people meet me in person and then figure out, because when it's the opposite, people put you on this weird pedestal when they see, you can tell, like even some of the nurses that I never met before, they come to me, oh my gosh, you're the TikTok guy. And I'm like, yeah, but like, that's not how I want to be known. I want to be known as Joel. Like
Yeah.
I'm the guy that, went to a Caribbean med school, worked really hard, became a doctor. And it's like, I don't want to be known as that's just comes with the territory though. And that's like, it's a gift and a curse, but at the same time, like I said, it's a double-edged sword.
A lot of people are on it, and not a lot of people are posting. TikTok has been it's blown up.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's definitely different though to see, like everybody's on social media, but I don't post very much. Or I
Yeah.
don't post on mine at all.
So that's the thing. I mean, that's just the general market, right? There's consumers and there's producers. And someone said, what do you want to be, a consumer or producer? And in my head, I said, if I'm going to be here scrolling, I might as well be creating. So I decided instead of spending my time scrolling that I'd be creating. And then I said, I might as well get something out of it, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, by getting something out of it, that seems like I'm doing it for the wrong reasons. But in my head, it sounded more like,
No, you get a lot of
make
yeah.
make use of my time better. Like I'd rather be putting something out than just kind of sitting there and then have nothing to show for it at the end,
Exactly.
So
yeah, that's why I spend most of my time talking.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. When do you transfer from a consumer of social media to an influencer?
I feel like that is when you sit there and you realize you've been scrolling for so long. When you realize that these social media platforms, if you've ever seen that movie on Netflix, The Social Experiment or The Social,
Yes.
and they talk about these apps.
That's essentially how social media is destroying us.
Well, it wants to keep you on there, right? So it knows your
job.
preferences, it knows what you like, and it's made to entertain you, yes. But in a way, for me, I win because I realize that, and instead of consuming the content, I start creating, whether that means I'm adding to the destruction of mankind or not is another question. But, like
Certainly.
I said, in my head, it's my way of like sticking it to the man, because you're creating, you're not being a consumer on the app. So you're on the other end of it.
Did this help with any of your interviews? Did any of them even know?
Yeah, so some of them actually did, and a lot of programs were actually very interested in. Well, not a lot, a couple of them like mentioned it and said, if you want to move and do some educational things with social media too, I think we could easily help you make that happen, and we could they didn't say put time into your schedule, but they said we'd love for you to help with like PR for our social.
Yeah, they're like,
and I was like,
we want you to help us.
yeah, let me help you.
Yeah.
I'll help you if you help me. Okay, I just need a job.
Yeah.
So
We're hiring you, but we want the publicity.
exactly, sure.
So do you have a plan to continue this?
So right now that's the difficult part is I'm really just doing like day summaries as an ER resident right now. I plan on making it into just a slow series, a slow burner of like day 5 as an ER resident. Maybe I can get to like day 100 or something,
Okay, so you do like one a day.
I mean, right now, that's all I really have time for. I'm working 12s. I'm commuting. I'm trying to stay fit. I really don't want to be like a fat old ER doctor,
And when he's talking about time too, he's talking about he works for 12 hours. He has an hour commute.
It's an hour commute, right?
maybe even longer because you have to. Joel also, as mentioned, doesn't show up late, so he will get there early.
No, and not just like you have to be there 15. Like your shift starts at 7. You have to be at sign up by 6:45. If I'm not 15 or 30, I have to plan for traffic. So I plan for at least 30 to 45 minutes of traffic every day. I'm there over an hour early every single day. So what I'll do at that time, I make that time for social media. So I'll go and I will go and I'll go live on TikTok, or I'll go and I'll I'll make a video of summary of my day, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to make it into something that's good for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, number one, I'm not going to be late. Right.
Yeah, you're not.
Number
gonna be
two,
late.
I'm able to create content for social media still, even if it's a little bit, right? And yeah, number three, that makes me feel good about myself because I'm keeping up with like a prior commitment. And then I'm also early to my job. So I'm kind of fulfilling two things and that makes me feel good.
But you have no free time.
I have zero free time.
We're talking about 14. That's already 14 hours of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
And if there's 24, you've got to eat, you've got to work out,
Yeah.
you've got to sleep at some point. Heaven forbid you get 8 hours. There's no chance.
Exactly. Heaven forbid.
So it can really be difficult. And that's what I was going to ask you. Like, so is it just the time constraint, or is there any other difficulties with making content?
I mean, the thing with creating content is, especially when you're on the comedy side of thing, I like creating like funny content.
Same.
But funny content can be taken the wrong way sometimes, right? And it's obviously never the desire of a creator for content to go viral for the wrong reasons, but it has gone viral for the wrong reasons at times. And, you know, it's, you know me, you told me, that's why I said I'd rather people know me as a person before they judge you on social media. There was that med student who made that post on Twitter. Did you see that recently? They said, oh, like a patient said something I didn't like, so I missed the vein on purpose.
Oh, no, I did not see that.
And she was removed from med school. Like, she got kicked out of med school.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Even if you're trying to be funny, that's...
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, listen, that was like an extreme case where, like, you don't post that, right?
No, that just shocked me right there, too.
Yeah.
Right. Just, like, you don't want to say that.
No.
Even if you think that's a really weird, dark humor.
Exactly.
And the patients, there's a million people that have missed veins, and then they're sitting there going... What the hell?
Yeah, but I mean, you know, I've gone viral for the wrong reasons before, and
yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. So so you've gone viral? What happened when you went viral?
So listen, long story short, I made a video, and the video had come out at the same time that the New York Times had posted an article about women not receiving proper medical care. So proper medical care. The video came out about women being subjected to their complaints not being taken as seriously by doctors in some weird way, right? I mean, so listen, we know that the data shows that females present more atypically when they're having heart attacks or when they're having, you know, coronary problems.
lot of things.
Yeah. So in a lot of different problems, these females present differently. So, you know, I made a post that was following a trend about dizziness and headaches in women, but it wasn't meant to be taken like that. Like, have you ever had a girl complain about having a headache and then they were like, well, did you eat or drink anything today? And, you know, your girlfriend or your friend is like, well, I only had a granola bar and no, I haven't drank any water. And you're like, well, you know, that's the context I was getting at, right?
Here's your sign.
You know, but I posted that the same day that article came out. And listen, I understand like how it could have been taken poorly and how that video could have been seen in bad taste. But that's the thing, is so many things have been done wrong in history under good intent. Mm-hmm. And that's just the problem with sometimes being in the spotlight, is people will say that you're some type of a person when like that wasn't how it really is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that went viral. People were trying to like go at, like, they were commenting my residency program in the chat and saying like there were like HR complaints before I was even employed.
Yeah.
Like I matched at the program and they were saying this. So
my God.
It was a very, like, I had so much anxiety from it. Like, I had to talk to like a lot of my friends who are big time influencers, like, dude, like, welcome to the hot seat. Like, you're going to be put in the hot seat. And he's like, I've already been put in the hot seat at my resident. Like, I was introduced, or someone said, oh, you're the TikTok guy, and all the attendings and people like all looked at me. I was like, haha, yeah, you know, like, that's me. But like, that's not what I want to be known for. That's like, I am a doctor, but I'm also just a person.
Yeah.
Like, and when people don't know about that and they meet me, they tend to get along better with me when they meet me in person, just like you.
Yeah. I mean, like, it was so funny because I remember somebody had said that. I met somebody at SU and I can't remember who it was because it was very early. Like, I think they were the ones that told me to check your Instagram. They're like, oh, you mean like I was talking about you, like me and you were doing something. I was like, no, you mean Joel, like Joel from Instagram? I was like,
Who's Joel from Instagram?
what are you even talking about? And they're like, you haven't seen his Instagram? I was like, no, why would I see his Instagram? And then I was like, oh man, that's crazy because I never, and this is somebody else that's like showing. So
Exactly.
I was like, that's crazy. I never would even consider he did this. I was like, and they had never met you.
Exactly.
So they had said something and they were like, oh, what? And then they showed me and I was like, yeah, but Joel's like really like chill. And then they're like, oh, I haven't met him. And I was like, oh, then what are you doing?
Yeah,
introducing me to somebody I know.
Yeah.
I was like, what just happened here?
Let me show you who he is here, and then you're going to show me how he is in person.
Yeah, I was like,
bro.
I was like, you should really meet him because
Yeah.
why you? If anything, you're pretty like you do a lot of funny stuff on TikTok, but you're really like kind of straight laced and you're really like chill.
Yeah.
You're not gonna
I like
be-
to think
yeah.
so, but
Yeah. So, do you have a favorite video? Like you've got your viral one,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
people came for you. Do you have a favorite one?
no, I mean, I think like my most recent one that I really liked doing was this you know how travel nursing is so big right now?
The
And,
one where
know-
you put like a T-shirt on your head and you pretend you're a girl and then you take it off.
No,
I'm
no,
just kidding.
no. No, the one where I pretended like a bum, basically, and that I wanted money.
Oh, yeah.
And but I was the bum. I was acting as the resident, and I was like, "Change, sir, spare change." You know, this basically the video was you can do stitches on Instagram, right? Where the first piece of the video is just of someone else's video. So this was this nurse like looking in the mirror and like preparing himself, and in the caption was me preparing myself for my last 12-hour shift where I'm making like $300 an hour as a travel nurse. And so like it cut from him saying that and like being all like he was up in a tizzy about going to this shift being paid for $300 an hour. And then it cut to me as like this bum begging for
Just begging for
change.
change.
And I was
That's
like,
awesome.
and then I was like residents and healthcare. Cause you know, we get paid like 55,000 and we're like working 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's a crazy thing too.
Yeah.
You're doing double, like a lot of hours
yeah.
for very, very little pay. But you've actually, so that one's your favorite. So
So far, yeah.
But you've actually like, I guess like interviewed, or I don't know how it worked, but I know that somebody that I know, like Z-Dog MD, you got to speak to him, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. So
How did that transpire?
like, so the way that one worked, and that this is just like pure luck, like when you're in the space sometimes, right? So like this guy, you can create content literally out of anything, right? You just have to find the way and be willing to record it, whether you're at the gym, whether you're in the car before work. You know, so I was literally watching his live and he's like, all right, let's bring in some guests. Request if you want to be seen on here and you're in healthcare. I was like, bet, you know, choose me. I'm ready. And he brought me on. And before he brought me on, I was just like, oh, shoot. So I screen recorded it. And so I was
Smart.
literally-
I would not have thought to do that at all.
Yes.
And I would have just told a bunch of people.
So I just created some clips out of it with Z-Dog. And, I mean, he doesn't follow me back or anything. Like, he probably wouldn't even remember me. But, like, my buddy, Dr. Buck Parker, we've gone live a couple times. He became a good friend of mine during the pandemic. You know, there's a lot of people. I mean, See the MedLife on, shout out to See the MedLife on Instagram and TikTok. Like, multiple, like we're talking millions of followers on these platforms. You know, all these guys, like we're a pretty tight knit community, but like we kind of went through it together. Like we met these guys and we had like 5, 6, 7,000 followers, and these guys are like multi-millions of followers, like big time. And I could text these guys, you know?
That's awesome. Hey, Z-Dog, if you want to ever come on here and get weird, let's do it.
Let's get funky, Z-Dog.
Yeah,
He'd love that.
I just think it's really cool, the opportunities that it allows. Even just starting this podcast has allowed me to do like different opportunities that I guess I wouldn't have thought. Like I thought I would just be like showing off my friend, like interesting people that I met, and just kind of BSing. And because I was already hanging out with these people anyway, and then I was like, oh, like.
But see, what you're
opens a
doing
lot.
is you're getting into the creator space,
Yeah.
and you're realizing that creating content is also, it's like super fun, but by the same token, you're not a consumer anymore. And so these different opportunities open up to you, and you have these different bonds with people that like will carry you. If you ever call these guys up and you needed a couch to stay on, I bet a lot of these people will be like, yeah, definitely, you know? So
That's awesome.
yeah.
How did it begin though? What made you start it?
I had this guy I was a roommate with in med school, and he was big into social media. Fortunately, we had like a huge falling out, but you know, whatever. And yeah, he kind of showed me the ropes with some social media stuff. I started doing it, started getting better at it. And, that's kind of how it started. And then, TikTok became a platform when I was in med school. So for those first 2 years, Instagram was the thing. I built my following on Instagram. And then I started moving to TikTok, and TikTok's been like way better than I could ever imagine.
It really has. So it's just been like welcoming to you. I mean, there's so many different options on TikTok.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different options on TikTok, but like, I think for me, it's always about the people for me. If like you can't see a common theme, like I don't know why, but like if you were on TikTok from the very beginning, there were videos that, and even to this day, there's like a saying that the boys got me, don't worry, or like TikTok, do your thing. If you were around for that era of TikTok, you would realize that like people you don't even know would like and comment your videos just because you said that, or like, you had like a beautiful moment that you wanted to share. People, I feel like, are very into real people with real stories. And I feel like, number one, that's where I got my name. And that's why I changed my name to The Real Dr. Joel on Instagram and TikTok. Not many people know that. They just think, oh, it's like your brand name or something. But no, it like has a good background for me. And like,
because you're real, or you're actually a real doctor?
Yeah. So no, just because I feel like, I had it rough, when I was in undergrad, I failed a bunch of classes. Wasn't doing well. My mom told me that I wasn't smart enough to be a doctor. And, I was like,
thanks,
I'm gonna, yeah, exactly. Thanks, Mom. I'm gonna show you. Yeah. I went back, did well, had a buddy that went to a Caribbean med school, failed my first semester at a Caribbean med school, actually. Terrifying, by the way. I had 2 roommates at the time, not the social media roommate, but a brilliant roommate who showed me how to study, and I learned from him how to study, and it worked, and I passed my classes, did well, never really struggled passing tests anymore. And, now I like.
What do you think was the struggle? Was it just the fact that you didn't know how to study for medical school, or like the new schedule, everything that he taught you just allowed you to?
The drinking from a water hose thing is true, right? It's like in college, you'd have 17 lectures and you'd be like, oh my gosh, this is a huge lecture. And then you're getting 4 lectures a day for 5 days a week, and you have 1 month of lectures, and all of a sudden you have 4,000 slides need to know.
Yeah.
Like that's what happens in med school when you're like super, super busy, right? It's like it's drinking from a fire hose.
Yeah.
So,
because I remember too, is like allocating the time to study. Like you think that you are going to be fine doing whatever, oh, okay, I can study for 2 hours, but it's actually like you have to study the whole time.
Yeah, no, you're studying. I mean, I think the only breaks I took in med school was gym in the morning. I was up at 4:30. This was the grind. The schedule was up at 4:30, in the gym by 5, gym 5 to 6, eating breakfast, sitting down and studying by 6:30. I'd study until it was either 8 or 9 a.m. I think it was an 8 a.m. class. And I'd study, get a bunch of Anki flashcards done until about 8 o'clock. And then I'd be at lecture. Lecture would be from 8 to 10 or 8 to 11, something like that. 1 hour for lunch. Then you'd have small group from 1 to 4. You'd come home, study from 4 to 6, and then you'd shower, eat, and do it all over again. Mm-hmm. Saturdays, you'd get up, you'd go to the library or to wherever you studied on Saturdays, and you'd study from 8, sometimes 7 a.m. till 5 p.m.
Yeah, that was the weird thing too. Your weekends are taken up.
Yeah.
You didn't expect that. Yeah, you get the day after a test to rage, but up to then, you're locked down.
And people don't understand that about like being at a Caribbean med school either. It's like, they're like, oh, it must have been so beautiful. But I always tell people it was like window shopping, man. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, you could experience the island and whatnot. And I know a lot of people that could, but like my mentality was never that like, oh, you're there to like have a good time and explore. I want to go back and do those things, but like, when I was on the island, I was so focused on studying, I didn't worry about going and see the turtles. I really wanted to, but there was so much I feel like I missed out on when I was there. But
we'll go back. But yeah, you were always very, very dedicated. I remember when we were there, I knew you because we played on the same intramural basketball team, and you were a term ahead of me. So you were like the older guy. You had more time on the island, but you were very, very dedicated. And I remember you had the DES group. So you were like almost like a mentor too, because you knew pretty much. Like, and for everybody that's listening, a DES group is like, it would be like a small group where you could go on your own free time, and like students would teach other students that were like in terms below them.
Basically show them what, like, this is how they would test these concepts, basically.
Yes. And you would go, and honestly, those were one of the most helpful things. But I remember you and Anna had one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was the Glucose Guardians.
Oh, yeah.
Like some of your PowerPoints would still pop up on my laptop even now. I'm like, it was just like so funny because I remember me and Michael would always go to y'all's DES groups because
it was
so helpful.
Yeah, because it's literally like kind of like that deep end. It's like wading into the pool instead of being thrown in.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. So that always helps. And not everyone's learning styles are the same, but you know, it's just helpful to like have your questions answered by someone who's there and like was successful ahead of you, you know?
Yeah. One thing that was helpful in med school was that I learned like the best way to handle it was not to just take the material and go study it by myself.
No.
It was to go use my peers, the people that have taken the test before, other resources, and really try to bring all of that together. And that meant way more in a test than me just going through all the PowerPoints and trying to memorize everything SGU tried to teach me. So that was one of the good things. Okay, so influencing aside, you also have a ton of other hustles. Like, yes, you have this social media following, but you do Bitcoin mining, right?
Crypto, just crypto. I don't do Bitcoin
crypto
mining.
Okay. So just crypto mining.
I do a lot of cryptocurrency
How does that even
stuff.
work? First off,
so
I guess that's my first question.
So I'm really bullish on a coin called Helium. I could get into the specifics, but if you've ever heard of Lime scooters, the scooters you can rent in big cities, like the bikes you can rent in New York City using an app on your phone. There's a bunch of GPS trackers that use this technology. It's called IoT technology, Internet of Things. Basically, the guy that invented Napster created this company called Helium, and this company uses what's called LongFi technology. So if me and you wanted to share a picture on Bluetooth that works 30 feet away or like right in front of each other, right? That's the range.
Yeah.
This technology works about 10 miles, right? So it's a decentralized network. Decentralized just means like everybody who wants to participate buys into the project. I bought this miner. You bought this miner. These miners connect to an antenna, and these antennas send the signals for these devices, right? The GPS trackers, the Lime scooters, you know, whether that's to find out where the location is of them, people that are using them, right? So data is going to be sent between these miners and the antennas. And long story short, you get paid because the companies pay this network Helium to use it. Why do they pay this company? They pay this company because it's cheaper to send data through a smaller decentralized network than calling up Sprint and using their huge cell phone towers to send their large packets of data, right? So it's basically like a data thing. These smaller companies that don't need to send big amounts of data, you're charged, I think it's per, like how much you're sending. And so if you're going to use these big towers, you're going to pay like a bigger price. If you're using the smaller ones, you're not going to pay as much. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense for these bigger companies to use this smaller company like Helium. And yeah, this network is really great. I mean, I was waking up to a ton of cash at one point. I mean, the market's down right now, but
I've heard the market has dropped.
It's horrible. You have to be if you're in the crypto space, you have to realize like the ebb and flow of things is like, you have to be okay with like an 80% loss at one point. And then buying more when it's at 20%, like you have that 20% left.
I mean, it's very, very interesting because you have to ebb and flow because first off, this is a new technology, and right now with society and government and all this other stuff, like inflation in general, like things are getting a little dicey. Like people aren't going to be just spending their money on things that they don't get immediate reward from. Like you have to pay for gas.
So do you want to hear what the saying is?
What is it?
The saying is
spend money, make money.
Well, definitely that one, but it's buy the fear, sell the greed.
Okay.
Yeah. So, that's one thing. Like this was my first like real up and down cycle that I was through. And basically, when things were going well, I should have sold more. And when things were really down, I sold because I was scared. So I made mistakes at both ends, and I won't make that mistake this cycle. So next time when things are going well, you got to sell your bag. You got to sell how much like for a profit. And then when you're down, you never sell when you're down,
Okay. Yeah. You just hold on to that baby.
You just hold.
Because what's the point of selling it? Because now it's not worth
anything.
Why would you?
Yeah.
And
like it's not worth anything, period. So.
Exactly. And once again, this is not financial advice.
No. This should not be taken as credible. We're going to be physicians.
Yes.
And you're a physician.
Yes.
So at this point in time, don't. So we got Bitcoin. You also, I mean, dude, you have so many hustles. It's actually very unique. Like for you not to have a lot of free time, you got Pokemon cards. You've got, oh my God, you've got all these other hustles. I don't know. Am I missing any? He's got assets, I guess, is the best.
I mean, it's not really assets. I wouldn't call it.
You just keep, like, it just seems that there's always,
Yeah, I mean, for those of you who don't
You're
know,
thinking very financially. You've got like a good head on.
I mean, I'd like to think that I have, I was always told you need multiple streams of income, right? So the next thing is I want to try to buy a house, like while I'm in residency, and like rent out a couple of the bedrooms and build equity and have a place to stay, right? So like that's my next goal, is to get like an apartment somewhere close. So when things get tough, I have a room to stay in, but the room's basically free because other people are paying my rent, right?
Yeah.
So that's like the next side hustle. Obviously, that's tough. So I don't know if I'm ready to do that exactly as a first-year resident until I have a couple months under my belt. But, that's in the works. And like that's the next thing, is I think once again, creating versus consuming, super important. I just want to be on the creating side of things more than I do on the consuming side. Social media has been like really good to me, and like because I'm in healthcare, like I have a certain niche of people, and I think people market to that. That Echo stethoscope, like that's a perfect brand to represent, right? When it comes to scrub brands, I have a couple of scrub brands I represent. Things like, little things. It's nothing crazy. I'm not the type of person who's going to start telling you to buy this certain probiotic. Just, you know what I mean? Like you have to represent who you are, and you have to be real. And anyone who's trying to sell you something that doesn't seem legit, or too good to be true, it probably is. And I just never wanted to represent a product that would, represent me a certain way.
Yeah.
I would never do that.
You don't want to be portrayed in the wrong light in the future. But yeah, I would never try to put on a product or anything that I didn't believe in. That seems so weird. Like I could never even put on a product that I had never tried or done, like looked at. Like I know that a lot of people, like they do advertisements on things that they never even used. But for me, I'm just a weird, I want to see how to use,
cuts to a commercial about a random product that he's never used before.
Protein chips.
Yeah.
No, those are good.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. That's just something about me. I really like getting into and like doing things the right way. And I feel like that's the right way. Like I couldn't just lie.
Yeah.
Like my soul would be just so torn.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great way to end this bad boy. So thank you so much, Joel, for coming. It's been great. You're always a blessing. Hope everybody has enjoyed it.
Yeah, this has been really great, Jordan. Thanks so much.
Of course. If you need to find him, he's the real Joel Collins.
Yeah, the real Dr. Joel.
The real
on
Dr.
all
Joel.
platforms.
On every platform. And all right, thank you, everybody.
Hey everyone, I want to take this time to tell you about our friends over at TrueLearn. They have this top-of-the-line test bank that is perfect for any upcoming board exams that you may have. They have test banks for all types of exams. So whether you're studying for medical school, nursing school, OT, pharmacy, and others like speech pathology, TrueLearn is the way to go. If you're like me and going through medical school, they have a question banks for all the big exams, like Step 1, Step 2, and Step 3, with quality assessments for each exam. Look, I know we didn't go into healthcare because we love taking tests. This is the hard part of the job. Make it easy on yourself with TrueLearn. Sign up now with the code OFFWHITECOAT to get $25 off your purchase. That's OFF WHITECOAT, no spaces, to get $25 off your purchase. This is a test bank that you do not want to pass up on. Make this easy on yourself. Take the deal, pass your boards, and get back to enjoying the reason you went into healthcare. And make sure to use Off-White Coat when you pick it up.